Good morning, everybody. It's Megan Darrow, Executive Director of Together, she, her pronouns, and we're back again with another episode of Thrive Together. We have a super awesome podcast today that is melding two programs together. Usually we talk about our programs separately, so we silo them out a little bit. We talk about host homes, community schools, and clubhouse. And today we have clubhouse and community schools together on the couch so that we can talk about how our programs intersect and how important family supports is to all of the kids and families we serve. So my co-host today is here.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. My name is Kahlo. You've seen me a couple of times. I'm one of the clubhouse co-directors. I use she and they pronouns, and I'm really excited about today's podcast because of the same reason, that we get to merge two different programs and we get to see our community within our organization. So, yeah, let me pass it to Paulette.
Perfect. Hi, my name is Paulette Perez. I use she, her for pronouns. I'm the family liaison of Clubhouse. Actually, the first one. I'm bilingual. So, yeah, I'm so excited to be here, and thank you.
I'm Diana Perez. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a Tumwater Community Schools manager for 2 elementary schools in the Tumwater district.
Yeah, so we're here to just talk a little bit more about community schools and Clubhouse. And one of our first questions is, Paulette and Diana, what is it like to work directly with like the families that we serve in your communities? We can start with that question.
Well, and before you do that, explain a little bit about your program.
Yeah,
sure.
And then answer that question. Just in case people aren't following along, I want people to get like
Gotcha.
the high level.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
community schools? What is Clubhouse?
Yeah, community schools, the way I like to think about it is bringing in the outside community information and resources inside the school so that the school is the one-stop shop for families and students to get information, resources and referrals to the outside community. And the goal is to build community inside the school, and so that it ends up affecting the student and the family's engagement with the school itself. And that also affects attendance for the student and engagement between the families. And we just want to build that bridge between the outside community and the inside community of the school. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a great job for the community. Yeah. I can talk a little bit about Clubhouse so we can like get that that idea of how we came to be with Clubhouse, family liaison. So Clubhouse is a before and after school program here in the North Thurston Public Schools, and we're funded, right? I like this. We're funded by the Department of Education, and we go through a word that I heard earlier today by Megan Sullivan. We go through like a rigorous evaluation, and it happens every year. We have roughly between 150 to 200 students in the whole year, and not only do we do interactive activities and like field trips with our students, but we also teach them about STEM, reading, arts, music, and go on field trips to places that maybe they haven't seen before. Like we had a lot of students go to the national park for the first time this last year, right, Paulette?
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was amazing. Yeah, a lot of kids were so happy, and now we're doing outreach to the families, right? Which then we can go over and like maybe you can share a little bit about like Clubhouse bilingual family liaison.
Yeah, definitely. My role is just facilitate families and students, the communication, families to the school, or even, resources out the school. And referral for any agency outside the school, they can help with some resources we have in the community. That's my job, just be that point person, they can talk with me and say, hey, I need this, or I need, resources, or just even guidance. Sometimes it's just a question was like, you know what, I can help you with that. I just communicate, with the families on our program Clubhouse. with inclusive inside the school or teachers or counselor with the principal if they need, any other help with the student. Or even, like I say, any place outside the school.
Yeah.
That's my job. I love it.
I love it too. I love it too so much. So I want to give a little bit of history. So I don't even know how many years ago now. 8 years ago, I think. Is that about right?
Clubhouse?
Mike Sullivan? Yeah. 8 years? 9 years, maybe even. We applied for our first Department of Education 21st Century grant at the same time we were developing partnerships for community schools, and they started in the same year. Like doubled our organization in size and like number of human beings and our budget in 1 year. And I remember being like, holy shit, this is crazy. And we were on this hiring spree, and the vision has always been to merge the two programs, like that. For our before, after school, and summer program, that whole child approach has always been a part of it, but we didn't have a staff member who was focused on liaisoning between the school and the program, and the school community and the program, right? And bringing resources to families. So, Family Liaison and Paulette is really doing the work of community schools, but with our clubhouse kids, which is so cool. I love it.
It is so cool.
But there is a special aspect to Paulette and you, Diana, around, language-specific outreach. So would you talk about that?
I can start?
Yeah. Sure. I think being bilingual is the key, a really important piece in my role. Being bilingual has opened up a lot of opportunities for me to meet other families that might not have been able to know about this information and work with together, if compared to somebody who might not speak Spanish. I also think too, being a Latina, there's that layer of having that experience of navigating the community resources on my own for my family, and the school system itself too. So I think that adds a layer to understand the family's situation a bit more and the needs that are occurring a lot. And I don't know, I think it just brings a really great opportunity to just get to know people a little bit better with just simply being able to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And that's definitely opened up a lot of doors and connections for me personally.
Yeah, definitely. It's, almost the same, but for me, I will say be a bilingual is amazing because you can actually start a conversation with a family in Spanish because they maybe don't even talk or understand or even, nothing this first time ever in United States. So be able to actually connect with them in Spanish, and they feel like they can trust in me and they can actually open what they need. That's amazing. I will talk for me. I born in Puerto Rico. Sí, soy boricua. But my first language is Spanish. I always was, talking Spanish on Puerto Rico. Even when I moved here, I was really on the comfort zone with my people. So this is the first time ever I'm working, and actually I'm speaking English out from my comfort zone. I remember when I used translator on school for help me. I remember when I used a person just for help me to read and write something. So I feel I pay back that to them because on that time was amazing for me have a person to speak Spanish, and I can talk with that person in Spanish, and that person translate everything I say to this person in English and finalize, with a good resources for me. That was amazing. Yeah. I use it, and now I'm the person helping that family. So I'm so excited and always open to hear every, families. But when I see, the part of Latino on the person or Hispanic, I was like, do you want to speak Spanish with me? Oh, yes, thank you. Because, oh my God, I'm freaked out when I try to, talk or even understand. I don't know if using the correct word. I say, you know what? We are on the same boat. Yeah. Come on, let's just speak Spanish, and I can navigate them, and help them any resource they need or any help. And actually, like, work with them, because I completely understand you. Don't worry. You're part of my crew. So yeah, that's the part of the be bilingual is amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you wanna add?
I just think it's amazing. I think it's what we need to work towards is having more bilingualism available in general. And I think this generation is really pushing for that, and I love that because maybe the future generations are going to be like multilingual. And I like that because then there's going to be more community, more communication. I definitely agree with both of you. I think I was the translator for my parents at like 6 years old to like, translating documents that were like lawyers, doctors with vocabulary that, it was something else. So being a translator, I saw like, why are there no people helping my parents, right? And now we are the people. So I like that. I agree with that. It's a beautiful compliment and like wrap to like who I have become and why I've become who I've become. So I love that. Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing it together. I mean, y'all make us look good. Y'all are amazing. And bringing that skill set, right? And making sure that families and students know that if they are bilingual, that it is a skill set. Right. Like, it's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, it's something to be celebrated and is phenomenal. And I'm going to take this moment to say that Washington State Superintendent said that by 2030, we're going to have, bilingual schools. We're going to have dual language programming throughout Washington State. I say this on the podcast to hold accountable the state for saying and making that goal that it's needed.
They go like 7 years.
Yep. It's needed in our communities. It's a thing in other states. I think Washington has been behind the ball when it comes to dual language programming and bilingualism. And so I really hope that they keep that goal and that the state legislature puts money towards it so that we can build towards that.
Well, even one of our last podcasts where I joined in, you briefly talked about how like Alaska has like been like pushing those barriers, those language barriers since
30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's years. Like language accessibility right there.
Yeah. Yeah, incredible. They are going through a financial crisis, Alaska. I'm so sorry. And not sure how many of those programs are going to be standing. Their school system is in crisis. However, I was, I'm almost 40, and in public school, I was in, a dual language Japanese immersion program. And I will say again, if you've been listening, I think the coolest part of the Alaska dual language programming was when they added in heritage language for Indigenous people of Alaska. And so you can go to public school there and experience Indigenous Alaskan culture and language, which is rad. Yeah.
And speaking of like Indigenous languages, we serve a community, a Mayan community. We serve, folks that speak Canjobal and Mam before they even speak Spanish. So they're already trilingual. So some of the students that we actually serve are trilingual. So they have, Canjobal, and then they learn Spanish to be that translator for their parents, their families, with our Spanish-speaking folks and their family. And then on top of that, they learn English at school. And so there's so much support needed just based around languaging and family support. So it's like family liaison and community schools really have it like good with how they're helping the community like benefit from the resources that we can provide.
So, Kahlo, I have a question for you. Yeah. You've been with Clubhouse over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 5 years.
Yeah, almost 5 years. And you've seen a fair amount of change.
Oh.
With Clubhouse.
I've experienced
our organization, right? Like a butterfly.
I love it.
What difference has it made to do direct client support with students and families? Adding in the family liaison, and what difference has it made to add a bilingual family liaison role specifically?
Yeah, so I've seen a fair amount of change for sure. When I first started, I noticed that at the moment families saw that I spoke Spanish, and the moment that I interacted with them based on the cultural awareness that I have being raised Mexican and in a very traditional Mexican household, they immediately felt some sort of like connection to me. That was one. And when that connection was born, they, families and even older siblings of the kids that, were at Clubhouse, they were like, hey, who can my mom go to talk about this? Or who can help with this? And who can help with that? And so those questions were already like coming up to me before there was even a picture of liaison, of a family liaison, right? So those were already things that were coming up. And then the pandemic hit. Mm-hmm. And it was like no more like, hey, who do you think? And then me trying to do some like research on the side and see where I can like help them. It was more like, this is critical. We're homeless, family members were passing away. There was a lot of like emotional hurt that was happening based on the pandemic, financial burdens, language barriers, and then all of a sudden everything was remote. So the language barriers just went up.
Yeah.
And then parents didn't even know how to get the chargers for the laptops at schools, like everything, right? Everything. So our family liaison still wasn't... hadn't started yet, but at that moment we were like, something needs to be done because this is a whole realm that we need to focus on,
right? Because
it's impacting and affecting the mental health and the emotional well-being of the students, because they don't know if they're gonna have a house tomorrow or not. We had families living in vans that were like showing up to Clubhouse and dropping off the kids, and then they would just go park down the street like in their van. I mean, it was all these different things, right? And on top of the pandemic, on top of everything. And so when we were able to get this grant that funded our Clubhouse Family Liaison, it was so easy to, one, like look at Paulette because of how resourceful she is, how able, the ability that she has to connect with the families and the students. Yeah. It was like so easy to just be like, would you be up to take this role that has not been done before? There is no structure. We got to come up with it, and you get to lead it. And she was like, let's do it, because the need was so high. It was like a call out to duty. And so when that happened, immediately I knew that the first thing was they have to be bilingual. So Paulette just really checked off everything there. And so the moment she got started, there was like no going back. There was no going back because families just were coming out. And then one of the things that I realized was families have trust issues because of like government things that maybe they've gone through. So it's really hard for people to open up and trust. And I'm going to let Paulette share like one story later that we talked about yesterday. But that was huge to like really see them slowly come out of like, the shadows and trust us with like, hey, I'm about to be homeless. Hey, I'm like 5 months behind on this. Hey, my electricity shutting out. So, and all of that was based on like also communication. So the fact that Paulette was like culturally aware, emotionally available to like understand them because she's experienced some level of that in some way. So there was a lot of connection, community, and languaging going on. And all of a sudden, all these people were just trusting us with vulnerable moments in their life. And that was a huge eye-opener of like, we can not have this. We have to have this because it's changed. And that's not just the families. I mean, Paulette, I'm sure is going to talk about this, but like when she goes to site, the students come up to her too, and the
Yeah.
students have like shoes that they need, winter gear, survival clothing, like food, you know, all these other things. So the bilingual part is obviously really important, but also it's made a huge difference in the time that I've been here. And I think, you know, it's something that needs to stay because we've really impacted our community in a really positive way.
Yeah, definitely. I want to add a little bit what you say. I forget to mention we have 4 program, 2 middle school and 2 elementary school, and I visit every week each program, and definitely you will see families reach out, you know, to me by email, by text, by call, or you know any other resources they have able maybe go to school when I've been there, you know, because they receive the calendar when I be at the site. But actually the student are the person like normally come to me like, Miss Paulette, can I talk with you? Was like, yes, you can. Come on, sit down, let's talk. What you need, what happened? And I just, you know, here, I just sit down there with the student and just like, tell me your truth. Tell me what you need from me. And they are the person like actually as like normally for me, hey, my family is in trouble. My family needs some help with mortgage. My family, you know, maybe will be homeless. I know how to choose
I
for
heard my
winter.
parents fighting. I heard them talking about this, and I think they need help.
Yeah, it's hard for me. I will be honest. It's really hard for me here that kind of stuff from maybe a first grade student
Yeah.
to maybe, you know, 5th grade student. It's really hard for me here that kind of stuff. But that was the reason I'm there, you know, just for help the students. So normally are the students who just come to me and say, I need shoes, I need boots, I need a new jacket because mine is broken, or I don't have a backpack. So that's the reason definitely this need to continue.
Yeah.
I love one of the school. I have 3 little girls. They speak more Spanish than English. So when I just go there, they are like, yes, Miss Polly, you are here. I can talk in Spanish with you. I was like, yes, I'm here. What do you want from me? I don't need nothing this time, but how are you? You know?
Yeah.
So just that part, like being connecting with the student or connecting with the family is amazing. And when you can connect in Spanish, is more grateful. Is it's amazing because you can actually connect with them like a family, you know?
Yeah.
So that's important.
Yeah, and we also have we have quite a few families that they live with other families, whether it's
Right.
like their, you know, sibling or something, they live with other families, and they might happen to be like undocumented. And I was undocumented for like 20 years. So for a student, like I'm having anxiety thinking about this, and that's been a while already. Like, and it's, you know, interesting, but for a student to go up to an adult and if you're undocumented, you know you're undocumented since the moment that it's embedded in you because it's fear. So you know, I knew since I was small. So for me to go up to anybody, which I never did, out of fear, but for people to go up, for students to go up to somebody and say, my family needs help, and that level of trust, that is, just from my perspective, I wouldn't have done that because it would have terrified me that someone would call immigration on my family, that my dad would get deported, that my mom would get deported, that we would get deported. And it was so fear-based that if we even get anybody else involved, you know, we, like, just because we can't make rent this month doesn't mean we should get deported for it. That means let's go find another job. Let's go find some side jobs. Let's get that money. And so for students to come up to Paulette, when I hear that, I like it. It actually, like, it gives me, I get a little emotional just thinking about it, because I'm like, I would have never done that. Never done that. Like, these students have another level of bravery and trust in us, and I am honored to receive that because I know how hard it is to give it. Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Now I like, you know.
I know, me too. So I'm gonna pull you in.
Oh.
Ooh. Which, we heard about the process for students and families to connect with Paulette through Clubhouse. What's the process for community schools?
I mean, it's pretty easy. I work really closely with the school counselors. So if you have that connection with the school counselors, definitely reach out to them first, and they can connect you to me, or it's as easy as you calling me, texting me, emailing me. I just like to talk with the family and just kind of get an idea of what's going on, what support is needed, and then really just ask, what can I do for you, and how can we work together to, if it's an immediate need, let's do that, let's work on that, or if it's a long-term goal. I mean, the case management piece of community schools is one of my favorite pieces of it, because we get to work so closely with the families.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's really just as easy as giving me a call, and we can talk about it, and yeah, we can work from there.
Love it. And what schools are you at?
I'm at Peter G. Schmidt Elementary and East Olympia Elementary, two of the biggest elementary schools in Tumwater. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I love about both of this work, Family Liaison and Community Schools, is that we've really flexibly funded this work, which means we don't check, people don't have to qualify, right, to connect with our staff. They don't have to qualify to get their bills paid.
Right.
We've done that intentionally. That's been a value of Megan Sullivan and I, that we make sure that we aren't another program, that it's people come to you and you say, no, you're not bad off enough.
Or send them somewhere else.
Or you send them someplace else, right? We have an open door. And we believe people when they say, right, I need my rent paid, right? We don't, there is no interrogation. They don't have to turn in pay stubs or qualify or fill out another application. That's a real value, I think, Together is held, and I hope we continue to hold that value. I also love how accessible, right? Very different from other organizations in that you all are embedded within the schools, right? And other things that are happening. Families don't have to find a new place, go to a new building, drive someplace. You are where their kids are, where their kids are 5 days a week, hopefully. And so you can connect in that way. And then on school breaks, they have a relationship with you and you go to them, right? Of course, we will have clients at our office if they want to come, but that is not the standard, right? We go to them and we bring the things to them. And make sure that it's as low barrier as possible. Which that's something I think that sets this work apart and is important.
Yeah, we want to be useful. So
go ahead.
I think our, like going into like stories, because I love storytelling. I think that's my thing. I love storytelling. One of our questions that we have is there a quick story that you can share that touched you deeply within your work? And, or you think like our listeners would gain something or some insight to your work through a story that deeply touched you?
Yeah, I don't have a specific story, but I have a reoccurring theme that happens a lot. And specifically, more so working with like Spanish speaking folks, but in general, most people that I've worked with, it's this idea or this feeling of shame to ask for help. And it's just when families feel that, it really prevents more work to be done together. And I'm really the type of person that's kind of trying to battle on dismantling that within myself, of asking for help and not feeling shame about it. And it's just a reminder. You got to give them a reminder of like, there's nothing to feel embarrassed about. If anything, that's how we're able to work together and really highlight these important needs and support systems that need to be put in place or just need to be strengthened. And so I just think about that a lot and how it really impacts the way we see what help looks like in the community. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just like a big theme that I see, and I try to challenge that for the people that are asking that and just encourage that there's no shame to be, it's not welcomed here, and we're here for you. We want to work with you. And that tends to really take down a wall and builds more trust
Definitely. Yeah.
over time. And then we build that relationship even more. So that's just a big theme that I've been noticing a lot lately with families.
It's interesting that you say that, you see this this shame issue rise within like the Latinx community, and then you yourself said that you struggle within yourself to dismantle that same belief.
Yeah, I mean, I think being a Latina in a first generation Latina, first of all, and having to help out my family with translating documents, like you were saying earlier, or finding resources for her, it's internally in there, and so that's been my own battle of just trying to really challenge that. But then when I see those similar comments or that hesitation from the family of like, I don't want to abuse, like I don't want to take too much of you, I'd take advantage of you or of your support. And that's just so rooted deeply in, I think, in our culture, that like we have to do it on our own. We can do it on our own. We've been doing it on our own. So why should we ask for more help or for help from other places? And I get it. I understand that we want to be independent and look out for ourselves. And also it's okay to seek out other perspectives, other ideas, other ways of being able to get that support and build that community, whether that's within the Latinx community or just in general, like in the school or outside, so.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand the fact that growing up asking for help sometimes made me think of myself as weak. And I didn't feel strong and independent. And the goal has always been to grow up and be strong and independent and not need anyone, not even a partner, right? Like you got you and you focus on you and you rely on you.
Yeah.
And that goes in all ways, through your work, to your personal life, in every single way.
Yeah.
And I understand that. Do you think like that connection helps you understand the families more and how to like open their perspective?
Absolutely. I think I always tell them too that like I come from a place of speaking to you as like a daughter of immigrant parents, because I understand how hard it is to have to work consistently and not have enough time or energy to, really be involved with your child's school.
Yeah.
But that's huge. That's so key to the development of a student's relationship with the school and the family in the school. And so I try to bring my perspective in that way so that they understand that I'm coming from a place like your children that are trying, that, they're going to need this right now from you. And if you need help to be able to give them that help, what can I do so that you're able to do that for them? Is it rental assistance so that you can, pay for some Christmas gifts this year? Let me help out with the rent so that you're able to use those funds for other really important things for your family.
Or like even vacations. Because I know like I can't remember us. Like I remember one trip that my family took in my entire childhood, my entire 19 years I lived with them. And there was like no bonding in other ways that were like external, so
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Paulette, how about you? What's stuck out to you and impacted you in this role?
Oof. I Too many things. I was, I don't forget the part of the storytelling. I have too many, and they're like not sure. But I want just add a little bit about what you say, Indiana, about the shame and like the families doesn't want to ask for help, or when they actually ask for help, they're like, you know what, forget about it because maybe another family need more than I need.
Yes.
I was like, no, I'm here for you. You need it. I'm here for you. And I see normally on Hispanics, parents, they're like, I work 2 jobs. I don't have time even for, be with my kids or going to school to talk with the counselor. Or my kids actually right now passing through for bullying, but I don't have the time to go to school and talk with the counselor or talk with the principal or the teacher. Was like, okay, let's just do the time. I can. Because I have 2 words, I have 3 words. I'm just going one and then I'm going to the other one. And, my friend is the person to pick up my kids. Or and stay, with my friends until I finish my second jobs,
Right.
So it's really hard sometimes see that. I was like, okay, how I can help you to actually you connect with the school. What about an email? That will help. What about you ask for a day, or couple just hours and we can go to school together, talk about this. I see that a lot. I see the shame, like I don't want to ask. I don't know if I qualify. I remember when you say that, I was like, yes, I love that. We are really accessible for every family because normally and I need to, prove anything. I need to bring any identification, any paperwork. I was like, no, don't worry about it. I'm here. Just, tell me what you need. Being able, to connect with them, hear them, work with them is amazing. And just a little bit of story, I will try, be sure. I have one of the students on one of the elementary school. I think I talked with you, Carlo, about it. Is first graded. Really small child, blonde, beautiful, that's eyes, oh my goodness. She was like, Miss Paulette, I need to talk with you with that face, like, I need to talk with you. I was like, okay, I'm in trouble or something. She's like, I need to talk with you, but in private. I was like, okay, let's go. Let's sit down. Let's find out, a private place and we can talk about it. So we go inside the gym. Everyone was inside the side room. And I just sit down on the floor with her and was like, what's going on? And she's like, I need from you call my mom. I was like, why? Because we are being homeless soon. If you can pay the rent for this month, I will stay this month in the house and it's holidays. I want to stay in the house for holiday time. Even if I go, maybe next month I need to move, but at least for holiday time. That was for me, I was, inside her, like actually feel what she, was talking to me. I was like, you know what? I will talk with your mom. And that night when she picked up the student, I was like, hey, can I talk with you? And hi, my name is Paulette Perez. I'm the family liaison, this and that. And she was, no, I don't need help. We are okay. We are good. I was like, are you sure? If you need any help, please just call me, text me, email me. I'm here for you. It's really eases the process. I can help with everything, even with shoes or jacket. Try to, you're just going into the situation.
Yeah.
I not received nothing that day, but the next day I received a text. Can I call you? Yes, of course. Come on, call me right now. If you don't call me, I will call you. So yeah, I received, that call, and the whole story was a family who work, but pandemic, everything, life, kids.
Yeah. Inflation.
Inflation, gas, everything.
Yeah.
So it's passing through right now for a really hard time.
Yeah.
I say, you know what? You need to stay in your house because I will help with that, and even with the bill for energy because it's really high too. So, and you will have a really good holidays.
Yeah.
So just use, that amount you was trying to, put it together to maybe rent or the electricity bill. Just use it for something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the story. I have too many, but yeah, we need to,
Yeah.
be sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I want to call out like what a burden that is for that child, right? To
Right.
know that and to sit
Yeah.
with that during her school day, right? During Clubhouse, and just that, that gets in the way, right? She may not be working on her math, right? In
Yeah.
class, or wanting to read these great books about the holiday time, right?
Yeah.
And how, I just think about that kiddo sitting in school and knowing that she could trust to ask you and to tell you, what's on her heart and mind is, what a gift that is that we, you all exist for that. It's great.
Yeah.
And there's some notes here that, it's going to just, the connection here around family and community engagement, right? And being able to meet those basic needs for students really greatly increases the likelihood that the student can learn and thrive, right? Just even the worry of becoming homeless, I'm going to make a connection to our episode with Emily McMason about how when we're in the elevated stress, we can't engage with higher levels of learning or focus on anything else other than getting our needs met. And that kiddo is worried about getting her needs met and her mom's needs met and her family's needs met, right? And then we ask them to sit still for 6 hours a day, right? And be nice to their peers and pay attention in class and raise their hand and participate. So I think anything our organization can do to alleviate that burden and create space for those kids to engage is important.
Something that I've noticed throughout like my my time growing up here in the States is that the moment kids, reach that 15 and a half, 16-year-old age,
Yeah.
working is available. And working means different when you're working at like the movie theater for your own benefit and like you're having a grand old time making some money to pay for your gas and to go out with friends versus making sure you're working like 40 hours in different jobs so that you can do it, right? And then half of that or more of the, or most of that check that you're getting goes towards your family's needs. It's like two different ways. And when children start working and they have all that pressure, even though the families might be like, no, you don't need to do that.
Right.
That's not what you're going to do. That's not what they're going to do. They're going to be like, here's, my check. Where'd you get this? Well, I've been working, right? Here's my check. Here, here's some money. Pay for the internet. Pay for this, And like, I have students that are now working because they've grown up now. So now they're working and I see that and I'm like, whoa, there's still things that we need to work on because it's going to be easier for them to make money and to become like assistant supervisors and go that way. And then their education is really going to be put in the back burner. And then their main focus is going to be like more money, more income so I can help my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, I don't need to go to college right now. I don't need to do this right now. You know what? Now I'm going to join the army or the military so that I have like a solid income and I can help my family and myself and they don't have to worry about me.
Yeah. I think for me, like that has been a lot, that's been a reoccurring thought in my head when I see the kiddos of the families that I work with. And I ask myself, what else can be done so that the child doesn't have to go through this? Because I was that child, now I'm seeing the effects and I don't want that to happen to all the kids, with that similar experience. So I asked myself, like, what can these systems do so that the child does not have to have that responsibility of finding those resources for the parent, connecting them to somebody who knows those resources. And I think what I've seen so far is that, yes, the language barrier is the number one barrier for families to even take that first step of, let me ask the school or the community organization of like, what can you help me out with, right? And I don't think that the language piece is really considered, or even like the fact that people work 2 or 3 jobs and they don't have time to check their email from the school of saying that this is what's available to all families here, or is it in the right language that they will understand?
Yeah, good point.
Or go to the conference. That's at 2:30 in the afternoon.
I've stepped in for so many conferences.
Yeah.
Like
Come
it's
on.
Yeah, I've translated for
Sorry, schools. That was a gentle call out.
a couple.
Yeah. It was very gentle.
Yeah. So just a question that I really asked myself a lot recently of just what else can be done to make this process a little easier for everybody.
Yeah, true. All right, so I'm gonna wrap us up here. So, couple last questions. I know when people hear this episode, they're gonna want to know how they can support the work. So, how can people support Clubhouse's Family Liaison and Community Schools work?
What, you want to go?
Easy. Donate.
Write a check.
Yes, write a check. So easy. We have our link. You can donate there. You can go to the office if you want and see us.
get an office tour.
Yeah, get an office tour if you want. You know, I can bring some coffee too. And just donate, please.
Yeah.
And even if you maybe cannot donate, donate your time.
Yeah.
With Clubhouse. You will love it. You will love it.
We need
Be
van drivers.
around with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, we need van drivers.
Yeah,
Van drivers, snack.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes.
forget the
Snacks.
snack.
Snacks.
Or
always need
student
snacks.
need snack. They are hungry, you know. They finish school and they need some snacks. So donate a snack.
Healthy snacks.
Yeah, healthy snack. Or some fruit, you know, or you know.
And for those middle schoolers, the second breakfast.
Yes.
They do. They eat all morning. I was there the other day and they were hungry.
Yeah.
And you can donate at www.together.org. And you'll find the donate button right there for your clicking.
Easy.
Yeah,
you,
I would say
Diana?
donate through our funds and the website. And at the community schools, we have community resource centers where we have clothes, pantry food, and those are for like really emergent needs for families and students. And so, yeah, if donating food, canned food, pantry food, snacks,
Gas cards.
gas cards are a big one.
Yeah, gas cards.
Yeah, gas cards and clothes. We're always looking for clothes too, especially like warm stuff right now, winter time.
Or boots.
Or
for
boots,
students.
shoes,
Yeah.
shoes. Yeah,
For sure.
Or
all of
better
that.
yet, gift cards to those places. Because
Yeah.
sometimes kids
Totally.
have very specific wants and needs
yes,
on the shoe front.
Yeah.
Yes,
I know that for sure.
yeah.
So now I'm going to ask the question I ask all guests, which I feel like you have answered this over the whole entire episode. I'm going to let each Paulette and Diana answer this, which is, what does building community as an act of resistance mean to you?
Oof. I think I have something here. Can't answer. I have a pass.
I feel like you answered this over the whole entire.
I'm just kidding. I remember I have it here. I was like, come on, let me use it. For me, listen and respect everyone's truth. Yeah, be that person, like actually listen and hear what the person are saying. Be respectful with them, because my story is not like them. And so when I, with a family, my role, when with a family or with the students, I think listen is the key, and be warm with them. And when I'm that kind of person, like actually listen, I'm welcoming, I'm warm with the family, we can start building that relationship and that building that community. And I see that, you know, in my role all the time when I actually open to hear, open to help, but at the same time ask the family or the student what actually you need. Because I can think another different, you know, resources you need, or you can do this or you can do that, but what actually you need. When I open like that, you know, just sit down, hear you, and was like, yeah, I hear you, I feel you. Let's just work this together. We are building a stronger, really good community.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar to what I'm going to say. Again, bringing in that shame of what it means to me to build community as an act of resistance is to challenge that shame that really revolves around the need for asking for help. Because when we let that wall break down of that shame, it really opens up a lot of doors to ideas and different ways on how we can support each other. It strengthens the community by allowing us to understand everyone's experience when we allow that warm, patient, safe space to be available for people to talk about what's going on in their lives. And I think just not letting shame get in the way of that. To build that community.
So
and then when we see that we're helping each other out, we want to continue that, and that is just like a chain reaction. Like, we help you, now you want to help other people. Like, that's another question that I get a lot after, you know, we've helped somebody out with rent or being able to move into their place. Is like, okay, now I want to repay. How can I help you guys out? It's like, when people receive help, they want to help other people, and that to me is building community.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you both. So I'm going to close this episode with a call to action. One way that our listeners can support this work is to make a donation to our SWIFT fund. So our SWIFT fund is named in honor of our founding executive director, Erla Swift, and it is set up at Together to swiftly meet the needs of families. And we talked about how low barrier it is for families to work with us to meet their goals and their needs. And this is a fund we've set up because the needs are so deep. We've received, funding from lots of different places, but we decided to start this fund so that families who want to contribute and listeners who want to contribute to somebody's rent or to somebody's electric bill to keep the lights on or the heat on can do that. And it's a way for you all to participate in building community and resist, that shame and resist the individualism that I think is really harming us as people and community. So please donate. You can go to our website. Again, that's www.watogether.org. And I want to
Can you say that again?
Yeah. Spell it out again. Listen, we missed saying this on other podcasts, so I thought I would really drop it in this one. So I hope people listen. So thanks to the listeners for listening, supporting the work. If you're just listening to one or you've listened to all of them. And if you want to hear more, hit up that website that I've said 3 times already. Check out our social media. And I also want to thank one of our most important sponsors that is keeping us totally caffeinated, Dancing Goats, in these beautiful orange cups that we have here. And thank you all for sharing your work and your experiences here. I love getting to know the stories more, and I just feel so proud to be your teammate.
Thank you.
And with that, bye everybody.
Adios.
Adios.
Adios.